Why do people ride motorbikes? Are they fearless daredevils? Are they crazy? People ride motorbikes for lots of reasons. One of those reasons is to support their mental health. But wouldn't riding a motorbike cause more anxiety for someone? In this video, we'll explore mental health and how it relates to motorbikes.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Today is September 20th, I believe, 2022. Another gorgeous night. It's going to be hot tomorrow, believe it or not. September 21st, tomorrow is going to be, I read somewhere like 95 degrees here in Ohio. So, yeah, we got some time left to ride this summer. The title that I chose for this video is a lot of reasons why people ride motorbikes. It's not the sole reason people ride motorbikes, but it's definitely one of them. And the reason for that is your mental health. I mean, a lot of people buy motorcycles to get out there and ride and just kind of escape the daily routine, you know, of work and just to relieve stress. And that's one of the reasons I bought this motorbike, although not the only reason, but there are a lot of bikers out there that do get a sense of the mental health relief when they do ride a motorcycle. And I know, so let me just clear something up right now. Whether I call this a motorbike or a motorcycle or a scooter or whatever, it doesn't matter. I don't know when we became in such a society where we hang on to words so much and have discussions about what we call things. I mean, it's ridiculous. So you'll find me calling this a lot a motorbike, because that's what it is. It's a bike with a motor on it. For God's sakes, it's not that complicated. I posted something on I think it was Instagram or something, where I called this a motorbike, and I was scolded from just the immature crowd out there saying it's not a motorbike, it's a scooter, like I did some crime. I'm like, excuse me. Oh my God, people are so sensitive to words, yet they have the most vulgar, filthy mouths that anyone on the planet has. So it's amazing how it's okay to dish it out, but they don't want to hear it from others, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I might call this and talk about stress. You know, when you're a content creator, that could be stressful to people. I mean, I have the thicker skin, where I've mentioned that quite a few times, where I don't care what you call me. I've heard it all in my age, but you know, it doesn't bother me. But the day and age we live in with social media and the younger generation growing up in the instant world that we live in with instant information, it can be, and it is, it's mind overload, it's information overload, in other words. So it's a very stressful time for people that are young, because when I was like a teenager, we didn't even have cell phones, right? We went out inside and we hung out and we played music and we played sports, and we didn't have the social pressure that we do now with the Instagram and the TikTok and the countless apps out there that are constantly judging us and glorifying our looks and our bodies and everything like that. And it's got to be a tough time for kids that you don't have that image, you know, where people struggle with their weight or their body or their looks, and they see all these people on social media dancing around in gyrations and yoga pants and half dressed. And the sad thing is, these platforms condone it, and that's so aggravating to me, because if you go on TikTok and you scroll, every other video is a half-naked girl that, you know, is flaunting her gyrations. And I tell you what, that TikTok, and I say this all the time, I really think, mark my words, that I think TikTok will be shut down one day. So whoever the owners and the head honchos are of that application, you better curb what you have going on right now, because it is not good. It's not good. There's too much pressure, and there's people that are getting very depressed and committing suicide just because of these social media outlets that are condoning this behavior from young girls, especially, that are always out there doing that kind of stuff. And it's sad. I'm gonna see if I can get over here. I don't know if I can. Yeah, I got time. Gotta giddy up and go on this thing sometimes. This is a big hill, so it's hard to get up to 50 miles an hour when you got people going 65 on that road. But yeah, getting back to the stereotyping and stuff, not stereotyping, but getting back to the social media, there's a big problem in this generation with self-image, and it doesn't really hurt the people like my age who are past that age where they don't care what they look like anymore or anything. But like I said, I feel sorry for the younger generation growing up in this madness right now, because if you don't have the perfect body, or if you don't have the nice looks, it's very depressing when you get on social media and you see all these people that you think are being successful, and some of them are. Some of these young people are making livings just showing their bodies. I think TikTok to me is the worst, and I know YouTube has really come out with something lately that they are going to start curbing that on channels that are pointless, where they're just showing like the explicit stuff and the content that really is not beneficial to anybody, and they're clearly showing almost like soft porn, I guess you could call it that. So I'm glad that this platform, I'm glad that YouTube has taken a stand to start not condoning, but taking a stand to getting those channels flagged and out of here, because it's really not healthy for society. It's really not. If you want to watch that stuff, if you're in the soft porn and stuff, there's websites you can go to for that, but don't have the top three like Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok condoning that behavior. It's just not right. It's not healthy for society, and I think there's going to be a lot of backlash, I should say, especially with TikTok, and I think they're going to get investigated one day if they haven't already. But this is one of the reasons I bought a motorbike or a scooter or a motorcycle or a whatchamacallit, is just to get out here and ride. I mean, what a beautiful night. This is like the icing on the cake when you have a hard stressful day at work or whatever else you got going on in life, and you get out here and you get on your bike and you just ride and you cruise the back roads with not a care in the world. That's great for your mental health. I'm not saying everybody has to get a motorbike, but some people go for a car ride, some people go for a walk, some people go for a jog or a run. Others choose a bicycle and cyclists, like I'm seeing up here right now. There's a nice trail up here, by the way. So there's many different ways that you can relieve stress, but a motorbike is one of the bigger ones, and it's done wonders for me, and I think I'm not alone. Every one of us on the planet goes through contrasts and goes through ups and downs in life, and this is a good way to relieve some stress. Now in the wintertime, it's difficult, especially for me, because I don't have the gear to really ride in the winter. And I think what I'm going to do is go up to that Iron Pony. I think it's up near Columbus, Ohio. I believe it's called Iron Pony, where they have like a super store of all kind of stuff, clothing and gear and bikes. And so one of these days when I get up there, I'm not going to ride the bike up there, I don't believe, but I will probably drive that because it's kind of far away. I've had my share of trials and tribulations just like anyone else has in life. Oh my gosh, this road. You can't even talk on this road. It's so bad. So I'm going to turn around and I'm going to go the other way. This is horrible. This is kind of how the roads are in some other countries, you know. So that's why somebody asked me today in a comment, how are the shocks on this thing? And they're debating, I think, with the NMAX, maybe the Yamaha NMAX or something like that, XMAX. And I said, well, I kind of told them, you know, in other countries, the roads aren't as great as they are here in America. And not even great, but not even, like some roads, man, it's nothing but just potholes and just rough roads and everything. And this road, the road that I was just on now, is kind of an example of that. And they may be worse in other countries, but this road is definitely not enjoyable to ride on. Not right here. I'll show you where I'm coming up. Right here, this road, whatever this was called, Greenwood. This is, you almost have to hold on with two hands. This is horrible, this road right here. Oh my gosh. Ugh. It's like I'm going in, like riding like on a damn whew, that is horrible, that road. Oh my god, come on city, get with the program, fix that road. I wouldn't want to ride that kind of road for a long period of time. And now we're going to get back on the better roads here. I don't know what's up with these people. I don't know if it could be heroin or something. Don't know. But there's all kind of people around this country, man. Just this city, I should say. Especially if you head that direction where I came from. That's kind of more of the neighborhoods where you got the lower income families and stuff, that a lot of drug activity. You go through that area and all you smell is pot in the air, you know, weed. It's just the lifestyle that they lead. And I'm not judging anybody. If that's the lifestyle they choose, that's fine. But just like riding a bike, right? You have a hard life. You have to find a way to relieve the stress. Life's not easy for a lot of people, but at the same time, you make your life what it is. And I really am a firm believer of that. If you run into a health issue or something that's not preventable, that's completely different. I'm talking about for the people that are miserable and they don't like their lives. Well, then you need to do something about it, because no one's going to change it for you. It's different if you have health problems and you can't help it, right? And you just have to deal with it and you have to get help for that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people that are always complaining, or they don't like their job. Well, if you don't like something in life, change it. Because why do you want to spend 20 years in a miserable career if you can't stand it? You're just going to pay the price 20 years later, and you're going to develop your own health issues. Life is too short to deal with that stuff. If you're miserable in your job or your life or your relationship, well, then you need to look about changing it, because it's not worth to live in that agony. You know, we have the freedom, especially in America, where you don't have to put up with that crap. You can change your life and enjoy it. So keep that in mind, youngsters. If you're unhappy with something, whether it's your job or your relationship or where you live, change it. You have the power to do that, and you have the freedom to do that, and stop complaining to everybody else. There's my little spiel. But this is a nice relaxing ride back here. This is along the river back here, close to our home, but it's away from the traffic. So I do ride with my high beams on in the daylight, because that gives me that visibility, and my helmet's white, so that really helps. But this is the nice speed that I like to cruise at, where you're going about under 40 miles an hour, and you're just going on the back roads, just cruising around. Nothing better, man, nothing better. Now I want to show you something here coming up. See all this debris on the road? So whoever cut their grass, this is actually illegal, because what happens is you're blowing your grass all over the road, and you could get fined for that. Actually, believe it or not, there are laws on that. So I hope that guy's going to come back and sweep it up, because you could lose it very easily. And that was a straight area, so it's not as bad going straight. But if you see a lot of grass or debris from cutting in the road, especially like here on a curb, you better slow down and go around it, or be very careful, because your wheels will come right out from under you, you know. So there's been stories where people have wiped out because of debris on the road, and that was a big example that I just passed back there. So I hope that guy has enough sense to go back and blow that back in his grass, because that's not, again, that's not, if you reported him to the police, he could get a fine for that, really could. But yeah, like I said, we all go through contrast in life, and no matter what your story is, I think everybody's been there. Everybody says, well, nobody has faced what I have. You don't know that, because most people, when they go through stuff, they don't announce it to the world. Some people wear their emotions and their life on their sleeves, but a lot of people do not. And I can't even begin to tell you the stuff that I've went through in life, and nor do you want to hear it. But nothing's easy, let me tell you. I've been through my own ordeals, and part of owning a motorbike is just that relaxation and that mental health break when you get out here and you ride, and it just kind of escapes for a while, and you just realize that, hey, life goes on, and it's gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be okay. Everything works out, but we have the choice how we're gonna react to any situation. And that's the hardest part, because if something negative's going on in your life, we have that choice how we're gonna respond to it. That is our choice. And no, it's not easy. Nothing's easy. But at the same time, we choose our reaction, no matter what it is. Just keep that in mind. And I've had to tell myself that a lot of times during my life. Is this really as bad as it seems right now? And yes, sometimes it seems bad. Sometimes, and I don't know if anyone has ever had that hopelessness feeling, that true hopelessness, that no one's gonna help me on this. That's rough. That's a rough feeling, and I've been there, and I think a lot of you've been there. And I think hopelessness is the hardest thing to get through in life. But you know what? We go on, and we just get past it somehow, and then I get out here and I ride the bike, or I used to ride the bike for those feelings, and it seems like it really does help. So you have people that ride motorbikes for that reason, or you have people that ride motorbikes or motorcycles just for the thrill of it and the fun. So there's all different stages in life why people own motorbikes. But I think, like I said earlier, I think one of the bigger ones is for a mental health break, stress relief. And people don't understand that, because people that, you know, I've heard to say, you know, I've read posts and interviews and articles online where people say, how in the world can a motorbike be a stress reliever? You would think that would cause you more anxiety. Well, it does for some people. Some people can't ride a motorcycle because it does cause them too much anxiety. Well, then you don't own one. You simply get in four wheels on the ground and drive in the car. There's some people that can't even drive a normal vehicle because they get too much anxiety. So I understand. Not everybody is meant to ride a motorbike. Okay, so don't feel that you have to relieve stress. There's all kind of different ways. I'm just saying, this particular video is why people ride motorbikes, and one of them is to relieve stress. Okay, that's all. Not everybody is under that umbrella, of course. I had another comment on the last video I did where somebody commented about the music again, about not wanting to hear the music but wanting to hear the motorbike, or at least a mixture of the motorbike. So there you go. Sounds like a golf cart, right? So to me, you know, that sound is the same on all like automatic scooters that I've heard. The sound is very similar. But yeah, I mean, I guess they're right if they do want to hear the bike and the sound. That's fair. I used to want to do that too before I actually bought one, when I was researching it. So what I'll do is, just for my peeps out there that want to hear the bike, I'll be quiet now, and then I'll let you hear the famous ADV 150 throaty exhaust. Some gravel. Can't even do a burnout if I try. Yeah, this thing will not even. There we go. A little bit. I was trying to do a little burnout here. Let's see. Get on a little bit. Got to put the front brake in though to do that. Let's see. Here we go. Yeah. It's got really good traction. I could barely get this thing loose on the gravel. What I really need to do is take this off-road one day. That would be kind of cool. I just don't know anywhere around here to do that. It's been a while since I just got out here and didn't have any motive but to kind of ride. I mean, I am making the video for the one you're seeing now, but I just mainly wanted to get out here and just cruise around and yak a little bit. With that said, we'll leave it at that. And as I hone in on 1,000 subscribers, that's really a really big monumental accomplishment for me, because this started as just a goofy hobby where I started riding a bicycle and filming the rides along the river, and I had a mixture of like just different stuff on there. And then I started watching other channels that had these moto vlogs that they called. I didn't even know what a moto vlog was about 2 years ago. And I'm like, oh, that's really cool. How could I film my rides? Oh, okay, well, you need a bike first. Yeah, that might help. So that's kind of what got me started on wanting a motorbike, is I thought it was cool to film your rides, okay? But then I didn't know what kind of bike I wanted. So I'm like, well, I wanted something, at this time around, at being my age, I just wanted something quick and easy and nimble and light and, you know, quiet and not obnoxious to the whole world, where I can just get on and ride and cruise around like the neighborhoods like this. And I started looking at the automatic bikes, like the scooters and the PCX, the Honda PCX, like I've shared this story many times. I learned about the ADV, and then they showed up at a local dealer here that I bought it from, and that's how it began. And then I started learning how to film rides. At first, I didn't have even any in-helmet microphone. I would, as you remember, I would do the voiceover after I would film my ride, which was kind of strange because I was like filming the ride one day and then I would put the commentary on like days later, and I had no idea what I was even thinking about at the time I was riding. So that was a little challenging. But now it's nice to have the mic in the actual helmet, because I'm talking live as I'm riding, and that's just a completely different ball game. That's a lot more fun to me. But I do follow some other channels when I have time, and I really am, I just, you know, when you have your own channel, my whole day is, well, first revolves around my day job, and then when I'm done with my day job, then there's the family and the eating dinner and everything else involved in life, and the gallivanting and the errands run, and that leaves a little bit of time for the channel. So it's tough to pull all that off. This is where the fire department, like the students that are learning how to become a fireman or whatever that's called, that's where they practice. This is Butler Technical College. So that building right there is, they'll light that on fire like inside and stuff, and they'll have the simulations of, here we go, Butler Tech Fire Technology. And that's the building that they that's pretty cool. They'll scale that, they'll scale up there and like simulate a high-rise or something. That's pretty interesting. But yeah, this is Butler Tech. There's multiple Butler Tech locations, by the way. There's nobody up here on a night like this. This is great. Here we go. Here's Butler Tech School of Arts Event Center. Here's shipping and receiving. Let's go look. No, I'm kidding. We don't want to go to shipping and, I guess that looks like a greenhouse right there. that's about it for today. If you have some struggles in life and you're thinking about getting a motorbike, you got a lot of stress going on, this is probably one of the better things you can do, is just get out here and ride, but do it right. Get your endorsement, learn, take a course, learn the skills and practice, and then the bike becomes a lot more enjoyable, because you're defeating the purpose if you want to buy a motorbike for stress relief and it causes you more anxiety on the road. That's not the purpose. You don't want to have any anxiety. You want to ride a bike and you want to have some pleasure doing it. You don't want to be causing anxiety. You're trying to relieve anxiety, right? So if you do it right, I think you'll be fine.